China has renamed 11 places in Arunachal Pradesh. It is not just a change in nomenclature. In fact, it is yet another attempt to assert its claim over the region. Beijing has been claiming Arunachal as Tibetan territory for several decades now, but that has remained just a claim. On the ground, the reality is Arunachal Pradesh is an integral part of India and a crucial border state at that. Other than attempts to intimidate India on the border, the Chinese government has not actively moved forward to capture territory in this area until now. Since 2020, mutual hostilities on the India-China border have risen sharply. The tension over Arunachal needs to be seen in this context. The renaming of 11 regions appears to be a well-considered move to confront India at the level of intellectual discourse too. In other words, it is occupation by other means. Ironically, China's real interest is in the western flank in the Ladakh region. It is in this part, the Galwan Valley, that violence broke out in 2020 June, leading to deaths of soldiers on both sides. In the late 1950s, China, under Premier Zhou Enlai, had proposed an agreement with India. Under this, China was willing to give up its claims in India's east. In turn, India would have to give up its claims in the west, including the Ladakh region. But the Nehru government rejected the proposal, and the rise in tensions eventually triggered the 1962 Sino-Indo War. Even recently, sections of the Chinese media brought up the earlier proposal of a swap between the West and the East. When the present Indian administration under Prime Minister Narendra Modi rejected any such possibility, the tension escalated. A heightened degree of hostility has become the new normal. The Chinese see the Ladakh region as strategically more important due to its access to Tibet and the communally sensitive Xinjiang region. In recent years, China's relationship with Pakistan has expanded, and that's the China-Pakistan economic corridor coming up. So it has become all the more important for Beijing to consolidate its hold over the Ladakh region right down to Lake Pangong. However, India has consistently refused to play ball with China on the border issue. China is trying to pressure India on the eastern flank. Beijing attempted to get aggressive in the Doklam area close to Arunachal Pradesh in 2017. A violent confrontation was barely avoided between the two countries. China has not let up the pressure. It is trying to force India's ally Bhutan into a land swap deal that will give Beijing a better hold in the area to the disadvantage of India. It is worth mentioning here that Bhutan is the third country in the tri-nation border in Doklam. The Chinese government is attempting to use its clout over tiny Bhutan and force it to accede to the swap deal. For the time being, Bhutan has resisted the move with Indian support. It is in this context that China has undertaken the renaming exercise. Beijing probably hopes that this will pressure India to come to the negotiating table. The renaming may also confuse and dilute India's claim over Arunachal, especially if the Chinese names for Arunachal regions are promoted in international media. The first step to stake claim over the territory of one nation by another is to create a justification. If that doesn't seem to work, the next step is to confuse the narrative. Changing names is one way of doing it. K.S. Dakshinamurthy for The Federal. Subscribe to The Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.